Welcome back guys. In this video I'll be showing you how to use DLAA in conjunction with XeSS frame generation in Silent Hill F running on my Windows PC that has a Ryzen 5700X 3D processor and an RTX 2070 Super GPU. This guide will work on any PC with an RTX GPU. This game does not support any frame generation technique officially, but we can force enable the in-game FSR frame generation by tweaking the game's engine.ini file. I have already covered this in my ROGALA video. This in-game FSR frame generation works very nicely until you open the journal, which causes the game to run like a slideshow or simply crash. And this is why instead of using this FSR frame generation activated via engine.ini file, I'll be using Optiscaler XeSS frame generation. I'll simply use Optiscaler's OptiFG Upscaler as the frame generation source for XeFG. The game is selling on Steam Store for around $70 In India it's priced at around Rs 3200. It's a survival horror game set during the 1960s in a fictional town based in Japan. Follows a high school student named Hinako who navigates the town, which is now consumed by the fog, while solving puzzles and fighting monsters to survive. I encountered a weird bug when I was testing the game. The in-game textures were not rendered properly upon arriving in the town overtaken by the fog. It almost looked like my GPU was dying. People suggested a lot of fixes for this issue on the internet. Seems to be occurring on PCs with RTX GPUs. Some people were able to fix the issue by enabling motion blur, switching to windowed display mode, disabling G-Sync, capping the game's FPS to 60. I didn't want to use these fixes. I managed to fix the broken textures by simply using DLAA instead of using DLSS super resolution. You cannot switch to DLAA via the in-game settings. Game does not support this preset. Force enabling DLAA via Nvidia app also does not work. So I'll simply use Optiscaler Mod to switch to DLAA. We'll be using the latest test build of Optiscaler Mod version 0.9.0 preview for 20250922, available on their Discord server. We'll give the link to their Discord in the description of the video. Click on the .7g link here. Cutscenes in this game are capped at 30 FPS, so I'll be using Lyle's SHfFix to disable this 30 FPS cap. You can download this mod for free from Nexus Mods website. Just need to have a free Nexus Mods account in order to download any stuff from here. Click on Files, download the latest version of the mod. At the time of recording this video, it's version 0.0.1. Click on Manual Download here, then click on Slow Download. The game comes with an older version of DLSS Upscaler, version 3.7. I'll simply use Nvidia app to override DLSS Upscaler to version 4. We'll be verifying the Upscaler's details using DLSS Debug overlay. We'll activate the overlay by executing this registry code provided by Emos. Copy the lines. Create a new text file anywhere on your PC. Name it anything you want. I'll just name it as overlay. Change the extension from .txt to .reg. Hit enter. Yes. Select the file, right click, open with notepad. Paste the lines here. Click on file, click on save, close, and run this registry file. This will enable DLSS debug overlay. If you want to disable it, just replace the number 4 here with 0. Click on file, click on save, close, and run this registry file. I'll revert the change as I want to enable DLSS debug overlay. Select the file, right click, open. Yes, okay. I'll override DLSS Upscaler via Nvidia app. Just open Nvidia app. Click on graphics. Click on the 3 dots here. Click on refresh. The list will show you all of the games installed on your PC. Select Silent Hill F. Scroll down until you find this setting, DLSS Override Model Presets. Click on the pencil icon next to it. Select latest, then click on apply. I've already done this. Now this is the setting for force enabling DLAA, DLSS Override Super Resolution Mode. From this drop down bar, if you select DLAA, for some reason it's not going to work. I don't know why. I'll just leave it at use the 3D application setting. First I'll install SHfFix, open its archive file. Select all of the files present inside this archive file except for extract to game folder. Copy, I'll show you where to paste them. Select the game in your Steam library, right click, manage, click on browse local files, open SHF folder, open binaries folder, open Win64 folder, paste everything here. We are done. Now I'll install Optiscaler Mod. Just open the mods archive file, select the highlighted files, optiscaler.ini, optiscaler.dll, libxeSS_fg.dll, DX11 version of XeSS super resolution not required, XeSS super resolution file, XeSS low latency mode, fake NV API.ini, fake NV API.dll. Now this game does not support Nvidia Reflex. Fake NV API usually replaces Reflex with XeSS low latency mode. I doubt XeSS low latency mode will work when we enable XeSS FrameGen using OptiFG Upscaler as the frame generation source. Newcomb 9's mod not required. Vulkan version of FidelTFX file not required. Select all of the TX12 versions of FidelTFX files. Right click, copy. Open the game's installed directory. Open SHF folder. Open binaries folder. Win64 folder. Paste everything here. Just change the name of Optiscaler.dll file to txgi.dll. That's it, the mod has been installed. In order to get XeSS frame generation working, we need to disable dilated motion vectors. I'll show you how to do this. Just open C drive, open users folder, open the folder that has the same name as your PC's username, open app data folder. If this folder is not visible on your PC, click on view here, go to show, check the setting, hidden items, open local folder. In this directory, look for a folder name SHF, there it is, open it, open saved folder, config folder, Windows folder. In this directory, you need to create a new text file and just name it as engine.ini. Change the extension from .txt to .ini. Hit enter, yes. If extension of the file is not shown on your PC, click on view here, go to show and check the setting file name extensions. Select engine.ini file, right click, open with notepad. Just paste the following lines. I'll provide the lines in the description of the video. You can copy the lines from there and then paste them here. Click on file, click on save, close. Select the file, right click, properties. Check the setting read only, apply. If you don't apply this read only attribute, the game will simply delete this engine.ini file after you exit the game. Okay. Enabling hardware accelerated GPU shuttling setting is not a mandatory requirement for using XeSS FrameGen, but if you have an RTX GPU, it's recommended to enable this setting. Right click anywhere on the desktop, click on display settings, click on graphics, click on advanced graphics settings, enable hardware accelerated GPU shuttling setting from here. If your monitor supports variable refresh rate, enable the setting as well. Now I'll enable VSYNC from Nvidia control panel. Click on manage 3D settings, click on program settings. From this drop down bar, select Silent Hill F, scroll down to the end, enable VSYNC from here. My monitor is G-Sync compatible. I'll enable the corresponding settings for it. Click on setup G-Sync and enable the following settings. Enable G-Sync, G-Sync compatible, enable for full screen mode, and enable settings for the selected display model. I'll also enable G-Sync compatible indicator. This step is optional. Click on display here and check this setting. G-Sync compatible indicator. We are ready to run the game. First I'll show you the base game performance. Play. In-game settings, display mode set to borderless window. No FPS cap applied. VSYNC off. Indirect lighting set to lumen high. Reflections, screen space reflections. Shadow quality set to medium. Post-processing quality set to low. Rest all settings set to high. Anti-aliasing set to DLSS using its quality preset. I'll simply use Optiscaler to force enable DLAA. Motion blur off. Yeah, there's Hinako. Just open Optiscaler menu. Upscaler set to DLSS version 310.3.0. It's also mentioned in the DLSS debug overlay. Render preset used is K. It's the transformer model of DLSS 4. Base resolution 720p upscale to full HD resolution. DLSS auto exposure setting is on. This setting helps in reducing ghosting around the objects in the environment. Also fixes texture shimmering effect produced by shiny objects. Okay, first I'll run the game with the quality preset of DLSS upscaler. Try to highlight the broken texture issue. I'll enable Optiscaler's performance overlay, expand FPS overlay section. Click on the drop down bar next to overlay type, select full plus graph. The fog has not taken over the town yet. That's why the textures are rendered properly. I'm heading for the nearest general store. Cutscene is playing and you can see FPS is not capped at 30, so Lyle's fix is working. It leads to a very jarring experience when the FPS suddenly drops from like 90 to 30. You get the idea. Skip the cutscene. I enable 1% lows, traverse the town on foot. Area up ahead, it's blocked. Take the right turn. Yeah, experiencing a few hitches.
It's
Shu, our friend. Texture flickered there, see? Flickered only for a brief moment. It's a chase sequence. The fog monster is after me. This is not good. Take the left turn. Cross to here. I'm expecting the textures to break. Hasn't happened yet. Still not safe. Yeah, here FPS is close to 60. Very demanding sequence. Need to stay away from these red tentacles. They can grab us. Halt our progress. See? The monster is right behind me on my tail. Dead end. Scripted sequence. There's a way out. Skip the cutscene. My character is hurt. I am expecting the textures to break. See? The textures, they are flickering. DLSS upscaler is causing this bug. Oh my god. So now I'll show you how to enable Optiscaler XeSS frame gen using OptiFG upscaler as the frame generation source and switch to DLAA. Click on the drop down bar next to FG source and select OptiFG upscaler as the option. Click on the drop down bar next to FG output and select XeFG as the option. In order to enable DLAA, you just need to check this setting, override all, under upscale ratio override section. Now move the all ratio slider to the extreme left. Set the value to 1.000. Click on save and close. Restart the game. I'll be using Optiscaler's Hotfix feature to prevent the game subtitles from flickering after enabling XeSS frame generation. So it's not recommended to use RTSS or Afterburner as they will affect the functioning of Optiscaler's Hotfix feature. Close Afterburner, RTSS. We'll be using Nvidia's performance overlay to show you the performance metrics. Play. Load the game from the same sequence. Yeah, we are getting close to 60 FPS. Check out the DLSS debug overlay. Base resolution full HD upscale to full HD. This is DLAA. Now open Optiscaler mod menu. Check this setting active under frame generation XeFG section. Frame time graph, it will become thick like this. Enable hotfix. On my ROG Ally, I tested the hotfix limit 2, so I'll stick with the value 2. Check debug view. Purple sidebar should appear. And this means XeSS frame gen is working. You can also check show detected UI settings. Games HUD elements will be highlighted pink in color. Disable the settings. When using XeSS frame generation, just make sure display res MB setting is disabled. It's under the advanced init flag section. Save and close. You can verify the smoothing effect of XeSS frame gen by simply applying a 30 FPS cap. Now the game's FPS should be capped at 60. Moving the camera around, animation quality should look smooth. Just disable XeSS frame gen. Uncheck the active setting. Now the animation quality should look very choppy. See, FPS, it's capped at 30. So smoothing effect of XeSS frame gen is working very nicely. I'll just enable XeFG. Uncap the FPS. Game's texture should not break now. Back to the game. FPS, it's close to 95. Animation quality, it's looking very smooth. Frame generation work even during the cutscene. As you can see, 90 FPS. I'll just skip it. Fog monster will be chasing us. Subtitles are not flickering. Alright, the chase sequence is going on. Fog monster is right on my tail. FPS here is close to 80. And this particular sequence is very heavy. Crappy. Need to avoid these red vines. Almost at the end of the sequence. And go to here. Textures are rendered properly. Smoothing effect of frame generation is very consistent. XeSS. This is the end. There is the monster. Skip the cutscene. This sequence again, and yeah, now the textures are rendered properly. That graphical artifact did not occur. So switching to DLAA fixed the broken textures for me. I didn't have to cap the FPS at 60. Didn't need to enable in-game motion blur. No artifacts are produced around Hinako's character model when using DLAA, but in some dark environments you will observe some ghosting when you spin the camera. Okay, now I'll show you some combat. I need to take out this thing. The enemy flashes red in color to indicate the counter window. When this happens, we need to whack the enemy by pressing the right mouse click like this. FPS during combat stays close to 80. More of these things. Lock onto my target. Swing my pipe. I'll just change my weapon. Don't want the current weapon to break. Hinako can even dodge the attacks. Don't want to run out of stamina. Last creature. Oh no, I should have dodged the attack. Consume the red pill, restore my health. There you go. Hinako went berserk. Load another sequence, dark environment, equip my lamp. I'll just spin the camera around. Observe Hinako's character model and the lamp. Yes, some artifacts are produced around them. See? So this is the visual artifact that I observed when using DLSS and DLAA. I even tested the game with FSR for Upscaler, produced similar issue. Open my journal. With XeSS FrameGen, game is not going to crash. See? But if you use the in-game FSR frame generation enabled via engine.ini file, here the game will either run in a slow motion state or simply crash. I'll quickly show you how to use FSR frame generation via Optiscaler's OptiFG Upscaler frame generation source. Click on the drop-down bar next to FG output and select FSR-FG. Uncheck active setting under frame generation XeFG. Uncheck Hotfix setting as well. Save ini, close, restart the game. Play. Here we are in. Here FPS is close to 65. Open Optiscaler Mod menu. Check the setting active under frame generation FSR-FG. I'll also enable allow async setting. Now when you set the Hotfix limit value to 1, no in-game HUD element will flicker. But when you activate your focus ability, smoothing effect of FSR frame generation will stop working. And when you set the Hotfix value to 2, smoothing effect will work fine even when you activate your focus ability. But one HUD element will show up in debug view. I'll quickly show you this. Just observe the bottom middle image. Its bottom left corner. A game HUD element can be seen there. So this HUD element may flicker with FSR FrameGen enabled. This issue does not occur when you are using XeSS FrameGen. Displays are working properly for all of the images. The color palette is exactly the same for the bottom middle and bottom right images. Smoothing effect of FSR FrameGen does work properly. Disable the debug view. You can simply apply a 30 FPS cap with FSR FrameGen enabled. Animation quality should still look smooth. Getting 60 FPS animation quality, it's looking smooth even when I'm using my focus ability. I'll just disable FSR FrameGen. Yeah, now the animation quality, it's looking very choppy. 30 FPS after all. Before ending the video, I'll show you how to disable DLSS debug overlay. Need to edit the overlay.reg file that we created earlier. Select the file, right click, open with notepad. Replace the number 4 here with 0. Click on file, click on save, close. Run this registry file. Click on yes, okay. That's it for the video guys. I hope you find it useful. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.